morning, folks. My name is Nathan Snow here with AAN, and here with you today we had Abraham Washington, who had the opportunity of a lifetime to go visit with Patriot General George Washington. Here's to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome General George Washington. So, Georgie, can I call you Georgie? All right, Georgie. You used to be a British general, is that correct?
Yes, I fought in the French and Indian War.
Does that maybe influence your feelings towards the British?
I will always hold my country first and my people first.
Very patriotic. Georgie, you've been a successful general, and morale is up after your major victory in Trenton. May I ask, what other battles have you fought in?
Oh, you flatter me. But I've fought in the Battle of Long Island, the Siege of Boston, and also I assisted in the invasion of Quebec, and of course the Battle of Trenton.
Very impressive. Can I ask, how many of those have you won?
Two of them.
Anyways, I don't want to give away all of your secrets, but what strategies did you use?
Well, in the Siege of Boston, I created fake cannons and also, to scare the redcoats. And I also used the element of surprise in Delaware just a few days ago.
And as we know, that strategy was very effective. Georgie, thank you for joining me, and back to you, Nate.
So interesting. Thanks, Abraham. So now, let's go visit with Stephen Hurd and his special guest.
I'm here with Marquis de Lafayette, French general who has fought fiercely here in America. Now, sir, you are truly incredible, but why exactly did you decide to help the Patriots?
Well, I basically saw the Americans struggling, and I felt a need to help them. I also felt the need to avenge the France defeat in the 7 Years' War, as well as avenging my father who died in that war.
I'm very sorry for your loss, and I do feel that you have fulfilled that promise. But back to the Revolution. What battles have you fought in?
I fought in many, though I've only joined the Revolution in 1777. If we were to put a rough estimate, I would say I fought in 6 major battles, though I could be wrong.
Wow, and I am told that you've been shot before in the Battle of Brandywine Creek?
Yes, I was shot in the calf before the Battle of Brandywine Creek, though I have made a full recovery from then.
Truly impressive, Mr. Lafayette. But why exactly did you leave the war when you were such a great warrior? If I'm not mistaken, you left in 1781?
Yes, I left in 1781, around 3 years ago from today. I was tasked by General Washington to seek further naval support from France, in order to further help with the war without actually being on American soil.
Well, there you have it. Marquis de Lafayette, a great French general who has helped the Patriots greatly during the Revolution. Thank you, sir, and thank you for your service. Back to you, Nate.
Now we're going to interview a British commander after the Battle of Long Island. First of all, finally nice to meet you. How did the battle go?
Well, it went actually really great. We were able to outflank our enemies and surprise attack Washington. We were able to take out 2,000 of his troops. This was a very big victory for us because we only lost 388 men.
Let me ask a little bit more about yourself. Can you give us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. I was born August 10, 1729. I was upper class in the British Society as a kid, but surprisingly, I had very little material items. Then I decided to follow my brother George into the army. I eventually was moved up to a general. I was a scapegoat for the British downfall in the American Revolution. Despite many victories I had and great things I did for the British.
Okay, I see. That must be very troublesome because you got blamed when it was not your fault. So how many battles have you fought in?
Well, many battles. Some ones I fought in to include Brandywine Creek, Long Island, Battle of Trenton, Battle of Princetown, and many others. That's all we have it for now. Back to you.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting news. Now on to Maxim Stout and his very interesting interview.
So after the British were defeated at the Battle of Trenton and the Battle of Princeton, they wanted to redeem themselves. They decided to cut off New England from the rest of the colonies. I'm here with the man that led that effort, John Burgoyne. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was born on February 24th, 1722 in Great Britain. I studied at the Westminster School in London and joined the military in 1740.
And what battles have you fought in?
Well, I fought in the 7 Years' War, definitely one of the tougher battles that I fought in. I also fought in the Siege of Boston. That was also quite a difficult one. The invasion of Saratoga, that didn't go well at all. And the Siege of Fort Ticonderoga and the other battles of Saratoga.
Well, you sound like a very well-rounded general.
You're right. I like to think of myself as the best general there ever was.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
You act if you are a patriot, is this so?
No. Why would that be? I'm a solely dedicated loyalist.
Well, that's a relief. I don't have to kill you.
Well, that's a great thing. Anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, I wasted enough of my time already. I've got better things to do.
All right. Well, this is Maxim Stout, Patriot, reporting live from Westboro. All right, that's all, Nate.
Great interviews, guys. Now let's go review some of the wars, starting with the Battle of Trenton. The day is December 26th. Behind schedule, George Washington and his troops arrive at Trenton at around dawn. They split into two groups and start to annoy and attack the Hessians and his commander, and this resulted in an American victory. The army that the British thought was all defeated destroyed a major garrison and suffered very few casualties overall. The Americans also managed to capture critical supplies, including food and clothing. Inspired after the win, General George Washington recrossed and crossed the Delaware again over the next week, fighting and winning another stunning victory at the Battle of Princeton. Washington is able to keep the momentum and take out more important places, and also proves he can mold militias into different colonies. This boosted morale of the soldiers and helps them gain momentum to keep winning battles. That's all we have for now. Back to you.
On September 11th, 1777, George Washington was determined to stop the British from taking Philadelphia, setting up defenses along the Brandywine, leaving his right flank open and vulnerable, as there was no natural defense. Howe, our British general, instead of going down the river, decided to take advantage of it and set up 16,000 men around Chad's Ford and Brandywine Creek, trying to stop the British from taking Philadelphia. His forces had a weak point at the right, which the British took great advantage of, flanking them. His right side wasn't protected by the natural defense of both the center and left, so he quickly scrambled to defend his right flank. Washington sent reinforcements to his right flank, which almost worked. The Redcoats were fighting valiantly, however, and Washington was soon forced to retreat. 2 weeks later, Redcoat troops entered Philadelphia, capturing it. This battle was a turning point, as it was the conquest of rebel seat of government by the Redcoats, forcing the Continental Congress as well as other government bodies to scatter or group somewhere else, as Philadelphia was taken. Well, that was the Battle of Brandywine Creek.
Now to you, Abraham.
All right, let's recap on the Battle of Saratoga. The Battle of Saratoga was the concluding battle of the British Saratoga campaign. On the British side, we got Big John Burgoyne. On the Patriot side, we got legendary Benedict Arnold and terrifying Horatio Gates, with General Howe abandoning his attempt to meet in Albany and going for Philadelphia instead. After this, John Burgoyne was left alone and open to attack. Horatio Gates and Benedict Arnold would take advantage of this, and Big John Burgoyne would suffer a major loss. This battle would result in the end of the Saratoga campaign, a promising campaign that would have proved beneficial for the British. Back to you in the studio, Nate.
I'm reporting live from Yorktown, where Patriot soldiers have held this town under siege for the past few weeks. It all started earlier this year when British General Charles Cornwallis moved more British soldiers into Yorktown. However, Chesapeake Bay is blocked by the French sailors, which is blocking entry of more British ships into the Yorktown Peninsula. General George Washington saw a chance to trap Cornwallis's force and led some 16,000 Patriot soldiers to the south, which led them to surround Cornwallis's forces, which eventually led us here. Right now, the outcome might be clear as to who is to win. The Patriots are still standing strong after wearing out British forces over several days. The British might be forced to retreat back to Chesapeake Bay, but even then, it's going to be a tough journey home for them. We'll be sure to keep you updated on this one. That's all for now. Back to you, Nate.
Let's review the effects that the Revolution had on the British and Patriots. Here's Abraham Washington.
Just right now, we can say that the Patriots' Revolution has had many short-term effects, and I'm sure very soon we will see that there will be many long-lasting effects as well. Let's discuss some of these short-term and long-term effects. First off, Britain is fighting a war they can't afford. That's right, they're going broke without their precious, profitable American colonies. A new and revolutionary form of democratic government is on the rise, too. The revolution has proved that colonies can stand up to their tyrannical empires. As we speak, the constitutions are being drafted that differ from old Britannia's unwritten constitution. In addition, political boundaries are being broken, with more and more people gaining the precious right to vote. America, liberty is on the rise. Back to you, Nate.
Great information, Abraham. Now, a little bit on the strengths and weaknesses of the British and Patriots. The British, a well-developed country, had lots of money that could easily be obtained, so supply them with clean clothes, weapons and ammunition, and other supplies that the Patriots didn't have. Their troops were well-disciplined, well-trained, well-paid, and well-fed. This gave them advantages over the Patriots. On the other hand, the Patriots were struggling. They barely had enough funds to pay for basic supplies for the soldiers. Also, 1 in every 5 Americans were still open to the crown, and about half of the people wanted to avoid conflict and war altogether. The Indians also sided with the British in return for protection from tribal land. But now let's reverse it and review the strengths of the Patriots and weaknesses of the British. The British fought the war far from home, meaning that military orders, troops, and provisions could take months to arrive. They also faced a hard objective, as they had to convince the Patriots to give up their freedom. Another factor going wrong was the fact that the geography didn't favor the British, as they were unfamiliar with it. Patriots were fighting for freedom and their rights, which gave them a passion to fight, which can be a very powerful influence and factor in a war. And Parliament, there were many who supported the Americans, and people debated the necessity of even fighting the war. An alliance with the French was also a great factor that helped the Patriots win the war. Now, an extra bonus story with Max and Stout.
Since 1775, African American slaves have shown interest in joining the Continental Army to fight for the colonists. However, George Washington restricted this African American movement. Some African Americans enlisted in local militias, but George Washington restricted African Americans from joining the actual Continental Army. Great Britain eventually sensed an opportunity and allowed African Americans to fight for the British Army and guaranteed freedom if they won. Some 5,000 African Americans enrolled in the British Army after that. George Washington realized his mistake and eventually allowed free slaves to join the Continental Army. Right now, we're now seeing about 5,000 African American slaves enrolled in the Continental Army. However, the British Army is seeing about 8,000 to 12,000 African American slaves in their army. Right now, we're all in a tight spot. However, it might just come down to the slaves and who is the smartest to allow them to let them fight. That's all for this session. Back to you, Nate.
And for our final few minutes on the show, we would like to review the amazing women that helped contribute to the war.
Now for another one of our specials, we're going to talk about women's contributions to the Revolution, as they've been a great help to the Patriots' ongoing victory. Women have done a whole lot during this war, as they have cooked for the Patriots, sent them water on the battlefield, and even made them clothes for the war along with other things. Women such as Alice Stern Abbott have cooked for the hungry Patriots and helped them get nutrients that they needed to continue the fight. Many other women helped create outfits for the Patriots, sewing blue outfits for them to fight in, rather than what they were wearing, which were just regular clothes. One Molly pitcher, Mary Ludwig Hayes, helped load cannons for the Patriots when her husband died in battle, taking over his job and doing very well at it. Now, here I am with a woman. Ma'am, what's your name?
My name is
Well, that's all the time that we have for this interview. Back to you in the studio, Nate.
Now, a shout out to Dartmouth College in New Hampshire. My name is Nathan Snow here with AAN, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
The slaves.
The Redcoats were pushing hard, however, and Washington was soon.
Stab him! Stab him!
Women have done a whole lot.